We were gone for 4 days. It was very hot. It rained a little bit. The rain gauge is saying 1/4 inch. But the way that the coleus look is telling me that we need to water that bed. First turn on the hose after a hot weekend. The hose water is almost boiling. So I'm gonna let this water cool down quite a bit, but then I'm just gonna set this right in the bed on this one right here is soak. We came in here for a quick second to make sure nothing need watered. Other than that, I have not looked around at all. Arctic kiwis look great. These are San Marzano tomatoes. I think there's 10 on this trellis. There's so many bugs in the garden. See that guy? Looks like we might have some carrots to harvest. Ooh, look at that. And these are spinach that went to seed. So I'll save that seed for next year. And here's the next tomato bed. This tomato bed is all full of tomato plants that we weren't 100% sure what they were. But now that they are starting to fruit, we're starting to know which ones are what variety. This one's called a Greitmeyer. This grows in like this heart shape, and they're very meaty, very beautiful tomato. And at the end of this bed, we have our calendula that we never even sowed this year. That came up in winter. And then we have these teeny tiny currant tomatoes. They're adorable. I can't wait to try one. We have some sort of squash growing in here. Don't know if there's anything yet. Oh yeah, there is right there. We have some yarrow back here and some nasturtiums. We have an absolutely stunning garden spider. Sometimes I can't even believe that this belongs to me. This bed has blue ornamental corn, spaghetti squash, and watermelon. Early season we had strawberries growing in here, and now we just have the squash that is coming out from over there. There are 3 squash plants, I believe, growing in here. And we also have nasturtiums growing at the end of this bed here. And right here is his neighbor, and those are red kidney beans, red kidney bush beans, although it kind of looks to me like it might be a little bit of a climbing pole bean. And then we have a tiny zucchini and a very large zucchini, and those are black beauties. And then we have perennial bed, which is to me one of the most important parts in this garden. These perennial beds keep the beneficials here, and the beneficials kill the pests. Also, we've noticed that there are a lot of birds as well. I looked out from the kitchen window the other day and there were 8 birds in the garden, small birds. There were no blue jays or no crows, but all small birds. And I have a feeling they also have something to do with keeping the pests out of the garden. We have not experienced any squash bugs, any aphids. There's been very, very little bug pressure this year, and it's absolutely amazing. It's making gardening so much more enjoyable, that we don't have to come out here every single day and pick bugs off the plants. It's so lovely. Right here we have our pepper bed that is absolutely going crazy. We have never been able to grow any sweet peppers very well in the past, and we have beautiful sweet peppers here. These are fat and sassy. That's the whole middle row here. And then we have some poblanos, and the peach habanero are on the back row against the plastic there. They have not started flowering yet. And up here we have some golden calwonders, which are going to turn yellow eventually. And then here's the African violet, still hasn't bloomed. Over here we have the cucumbers. This is definitely cucumber here that's climbing, but I think that a couple of these might be zucchinis, and I might have just thrown some zucchini plants in when I noticed that nothing was growing here. Here we still have our peas hanging on the fence drying. Then we have our kind of our largest bed here. This bed is probably one of our most interplanted beds. We have peppers, marigolds, nasturtiums. We have red onion. These are, if you ever see these are plantain. We don't eat them. You can dry them for tea. We don't, but the dog does actually take and eat these stems, and his breath has actually improved since he started doing that. So we keep them in there for Murphy. And then we have our like insanely amazing Swiss chard plant that we didn't even plant, but I've picked off this already twice and it looks like I got to pick off it again. Eventually I'm going to plant these asparagus. They're doing amazing. I have 9 asparagus plants here that I'm thinking about putting in this bed right here, but I'm not 100% sure yet because I feel if I put them in this bed, then they're going to end up getting moved again, but I don't have a great place to put them right now. I started these from seed, never ever considered that they would actually take. So these plants, I think, look at that. I started them April 19th. So May, June, July, 3 months they've been in those. I wanted to kind of get them root bound, hoping that I could get a better root on them. I hope my strategy works. And then over here we have 2 potato plants. Again, we didn't plant, they just came up. And we have some Egyptian walking onions and another African marigold. Eventually we'll see what a flower looks like, but it takes them an awful long time to flower. Then on this side we have our second succession of carrots and a couple of late blooming basil plants that I threw in there. We've got it's a basil pack, so it's purple, and then just the Genovese here. And also the parsley that we planted late is also coming up very well. This is carpet time. Last year this was the size of my hand, and now it's spread all the way out there, which I completely love. We have some more peppers here. I'm trying to remember what these ones are. Look at that. So these will turn yellow and orange. And then here I planted, after we pulled the peas off this, I planted some scarlet runner beans. They will have time to get pretty, and the hummingbirds absolutely love the flowers coming off the scarlet runners. Did you see this bed in behind me? I can't wait to show you my pumpkins. Let's go. Just in case everybody's wondering, eventually this will be all gardens. Just right now we're waiting on soil, including where we have the sunflowers, the pumpkin, and now the regrowing rhubarb. We cut this rhubarb off, maybe 3 weeks ago, and I can't believe it's back. We've had rhubarb here for 8 years and we've barely used it. Usually I just put it in the compost, but this year I harvested it, and it looks like possibly might be able to harvest some more. Let's talk about where we started here. This whole entire patch underneath is lawn clippings. There was probably, I would say, at least 50 or 60 loads of lawn clippings put in this area. And then we spread them all out and we let them sit for a year. And then when I planted the sunflowers and the pumpkins, I just put black earth down, and we've been We've been fertilizing these with organic fertilizer. I think we've done it twice or 3 times so far, but this bed pretty much keeps care of itself. I am extremely happy with this bed because I wasn't even gonna do anything here. It was getting very late in the season to start sunflowers, but we started all of these from seed, and there was a bunch that didn't come up, but really it was probably a good thing because these pumpkins have been taking over. Look, we have fruit. I believe that we put 6 pumpkin seeds in here, and these are Connecticut field pumpkins, and you can see the runners. I pushed them back into the bed as much as I possibly could, and when we went away for 4 days, it looks like they're coming out into the lawn, but that's okay. Oh my gosh, look at this. Oh my gosh, look. Wow. Look how big that guy is. Cool. Bill said there were a few big ones out here. Oh, there's another one. Oh man. Look at that. Here we have red noodle beans. Cucumbers are here, hanging off 2 strings. And then these are tomatillos. These are tomatillo plants we planted, and we started from seed in the grow room. And these are tomatillo plants that just came up in the garden from last year. But I like tomatillos. I want to make salsa verde again. And you can also use them as a supplement to your green tomatoes if your recipe calls for green tomatoes. So they were growing fierce in here. So we probably picked 100, 150 tomatillo plants out of this bed. We have a little bit of a perennial mix here. I have coneflower or echinacea, which I have to go in and cut all the large ones out of here now. And I also have creeping thyme to try and keep the weeds down in this bed. As you can see, I don't get in here enough, but it's doing a really good job of kind of working as a living ground cover in here. And then we have some zinnias. We have some dianthus. Another thing I learned about dianthus is they keep coming back. So I'm gonna have to go in and harvest. Listen. You hear that? That's all seeds. So I'm going to go in and harvest those seeds so I can have dianthus everywhere. It's absolutely stunning. This one is a blue variety pack, so all of them are sort of purpley blue that come out of here, but different shades. Really pretty. And then we have, I don't want to call it the problem child, but if you've just started following along with us, we had a full-on string trellis here. The string was attached at the top and attached at the bottom, and then we were clipping the tomato plant on the string as we were going up, and we had 4 total snap, and the tomato plants came down. So then we added this 6x6 mesh on top here. And then next season, once these tomatoes are all gone, we're going to put another piece of mesh here because these tomato plants can grow probably like between 10 and 12 feet tall. And just the regular trellis that we have over there is 5 feet tall. So we wanted to be able to have a spot to grow the types of tomatoes that really like to grow tall. You can see here, this one right here, that's a pink icicle, and pink icicle really, like, you can tell that they're already tall. They're probably about 7 feet tall already, but they are more of a oblong tomato. Oh my gosh, you should see some of these tomatoes in here. This one, that's huge. These are the beefsteak tomatoes, the one with the 1 leaf. Look at that, absolutely gorgeous. Those tomatoes will get almost 2 pounds. It's so nice when you start having fruit show up. Starting to feel like the work and the effort of having this garden might actually be worth it. And then I put some more coleus on the end here, and it's loving its life right there. I'm so impressed with this coleus. I wish that it was a perennial, but it is a very easy annual. On the back side here, we have some beans, and looks like I may have made the same mistake here. Looks like there may have been climbers instead of bush. But we have lots of flowers, and there's some really big tomatoes back here. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Oh, there's the Paul Robsons from this side. That's the pink icicle. And then we have just a few pepper plants in here. I believe this is the Firebomb. And then I had sprinkled in some Dusty Miller in here. And then these are insane, these Great Myers. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. They're crazy. And over here we have a plantain plant that came up all on its own. It's massive. Murphy has not found this one. I was intending on making this sort of a herb bed, but some stuff came up on its own, like this tomato plant here. It came up all on its own, so we're just leaving it there. And then we have another coleus here, some holy basil, some zinnias. I got these zinnia flower seeds from another garden. I didn't even know what kind of flower it was, and I'm so glad that I grabbed those seeds now because those are absolutely amazing. A row of calendula is in there, and then there are some lavender plants, and then we have 1 or 2 beans in here. I forget what they're called. I want to say hickory, but it's not right. Kennedy beans. Kennedy? No, that's not right either. Oh, I have to show you one more bean that is like amazing. It's called the dragon tongue. Well, it's called the dragon tongue bush bean, but it's growing like a vine. So just one sec. I had to put a tripod up in order to catch some of these now. Look at that. Look at that. And they are so good. It's the first time I've ever grown these. They are so good, and I probably have at least 2 harvests on these plants in here. If I can find the beans, they are in there. Everybody out there is wondering why I got like a very shiny face. It's like 37 degrees out here today. When you have the time to take care of the garden, that's when you do it. This is what the real picture is, guys. Hot. It's 37 degrees out here. So hot. These were supposed to be bush beans, so there's supposed to be a lot less of them. I'm happy about it because these beans are so yummy. I'm not sure if this is the best way to grow them now that I know that they're vining and not bush. But they're pretty amazing, really. Like the way that they climbed up these 3 bamboo stakes. Pretty neat. Pretty beautiful. Here is an empty bed. We removed the cabbage from this bed, and we are going to be putting in a cold crop. And then over here we have a transplanted scarlet runner bean that came up in the compost, and Bill transplanted to here. It was a struggle to get that to stay alive when we took the peas off the back of this trellis, but we did it. There was one casualty that we had to cut off, but for the most part, it's recovered. So we're going to have scarlet runner beans and hummingbirds on this momentarily. Oh, look at the grasshopper. Oh my God. They're so big. What are you doing? What are you doing? All right, I'll leave you be. Holy basil on the other side, right there, which I have to come and pick. And then these are the Scarlet Runner beans that I planted the same time as I planted the ones under the small trellis. On the other side, we have garden phlox that I transplanted here in, I think it was April. We have a few pepper plants. We have another thyme balm here, which it says that they're only supposed to be 1,000 Scovilles, but we tried one last week sometime and it was definitely super spicy. It had to been, it was at least over a jalapeno for sure. It was super crazy spicy, so it's definitely not 1,000 Scovilles. And then lined with onions here. They look amazing. These ones I've actually been shouldering, so they're growing really, really well. See that? These ones too. If you're not sure what shouldering means, it just means that you take your finger and just taking that top layer of soil off to give it a place to grow out. The onion roots only have to be on the bottom of the onions. They'll get bigger if they're not as closed in, and the best way to do that is have them out in the open. So this trick of shouldering works really, really well. These are sweet banana peppers. We've never grown sweet banana peppers plants before that actually fruited, so we're extremely excited about this. Banana peppers are supposed to be sweet. Should I try one? Oh gosh. Woo. Okay. Maybe they're not ready. Anybody know? Sweet banana. This is not really that sweet. I mean, it's not really bitter. It's not spicy for sure. Okay. I think I'm going to leave these for a week and see what happens. It was a very hot day today, but I'm glad I did this. We're zone 5, but as you could tell from today, 37 degrees. That's still brutal for us. We're not used to that at all. Minus 37, we can handle minus 37 way easier than plus 37. And I'm talking Celsius here, guys. It's a hot day. Thank you for joining me in the garden today. If you want to see what this garden looked like just 6 weeks ago, check out our first garden tour right here. And I cannot wait to see you on our next week's video, which is spring crop cleanup and getting the beds ready for fall planting. We're grateful for you. Take care. See you in the next video. Whose idea was this? Oh, it's crunchy.